Accept it or piss off.
This one is a little late, but it's for Lincoln versus Sunderland. I'm going to give you the shout out to who got the correct score prediction right now. And if you want to get involved, leave a comment below your score prediction and we'll mention you in the next match preview. The correct scores is Time Traveller. I'm telling you he's a time traveller because this is about his 4th score prediction in a row. He's got it right. It was his saying. Joseph Morrison. Morrison, is that Morrison? Morrison, aye. Andrew Simkus. And Dan Duncan.
Whoa, Mr. Gilesy. I think you're missing one off that list.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're missing one off that list, isn't he? This bad boy here predicted 2-0. Yes. So what we'll do is me and Gilesy is going to predict those score predictions as we do every game anyway. From now to the end of the season for the last 8 games, unless we get the playoffs, fingers crossed. And then at the end of the season, whoever's got the most on the final video we do at the end of the season, someone will be wearing a daft outfit or something. You can decide. Put in the comments below what you reckon that our forfeit should be. Wearing a daft t-shirt with something shit on or a daft fancy dress costume. We'll let you decide.
I wouldn't leave it to them. They'll put
within reason. Within reason. I sit here looking like a dick most of the time anyway. Don't actually put us in a dick costume.
Oh no, because then I'll have to wear it to the tail. I haven't got any score predictions right for, even when I was doing this me channel myself. We'll be live on Saturday for a live stream, so come on the channel, drop in the comment section and we'll be having a laugh, taking the piss out of each other and all sorts. Right, so we're going to give you our score prediction. I'm going to go for a Sunderland 1-0 win. And Stephen, what are you going to go for? I'm going
for a 4-1. Sunderland 4-1.
There's a nice win for me already, because I can't see who's beating this. 4-0, 4-1 even. Right, we'll quickly get on about Lincoln. We all know the score with Chris Maguire. He turns up when he plays us. And looking at it,
he's only got 4 goals this season. 3 of them are against us.
So he only does turn up against us. So we know what he's about. That's even if he plays. Because I seen a picture of him and he doesn't look in the best physical condition, to be honest.
Well, I was having a look before and he didn't play the last game. And he didn't come off the bench. The game before that and the game before that, he started them both. So I think he's like he's a bit like he was with us. He's hit and miss. Like the manager will use him, then he won't. But I think it's pretty safe to say that knowing what the effect Maguire had on us last time when we played them at the stadium, then I reckon this time at the Lanier Stadium against the Gimps. Sorry, I mean the Imps. I reckon they'll end up playing Maguire against us. Like
the thing is, though, we're kind of be sucked into that trap again, like we were in this at the stadium. Like he thrives in that, being like the. It was all about Chris Maguire coming back. He'll thrive on that if we do that again.
I think it'll be a lot different because it's not at the stadium. Nah. It's at theirs, and obviously, like I say, we've got a different manager in charge. Seems to have us playing a different way, players playing with a different mentality. So hopefully, I can't say it'll affect us that much.
I totally agree with that on the mentality side, because some of Lee Johnson's interviews, just for use an example, like he called them sharks, and then they'd run about celebrating like a shark.
Yeah,
I think Alex Neil would give them a slap if they'd done that. You know what I mean? He's like a no nonsense manager, so he has got a much better mentality with these players, and it seems to be starting to work, and noticeably. With the last 5 games we're unbeaten and our clean sheets as well.
Yeah, I mean, you said before, Neil hit on that. He says the key thing for him is keeping clean sheets.
He wants to start keeping them.
Now, we would have had 3 clean sheets in a row if it wasn't for Bailey Wright's assist against Fleetwood. Still cracking assist that was, Bailey. But hopefully, I mean, I know I've went 4-1, but that's just because I reckon that Maguire might nick one just sods low. But obviously, it's right. If you keep clean sheets in football, you're going to do well. You just got to be able to put the ball in the net the other end. Hopefully,
that's exactly the thing. And with Sunderland, the way they're playing, they were much more, I dare say it, a bit more organised. I know you had the odd mistake, but we've been playing 3 at the back. I know we did play 4 at the back when we played Wigan. But the thing is, we took the game early in there and it settled everybody down.
And also, he was restricted with his selection. There's players injured, players not match fit, which he found out when he came into the club.
Exactly.
But the last couple of games we have played with 3 at the back, which is also what Lincoln like to do. If you look at their past few games, they seem to have played 3-5-2. Seem to also we could line up very similar on Saturday. I'd like to think that with the way O'Neill's got us playing, Neil. I'd like to think with the way Neil's got us playing, will be a bit too much for them. I mean, the forward line's they've got Marcus up front, and he hasn't really been on fire this season, but he's a player we know fucking so well because we've played against him that many times over the last few years. He's a big lump, gets it, he knows where the back of the net is and he gets in awkward places, but hopefully we'll be able to keep him contained. Bailey and whoever else he plays at the back, I imagine he'll probably keep the same back three.
That's what I'm saying, he keep the same back
but
three.
there was one other player which probably won't feature for them, but it's worth a mention, is Brigcut, another player we know, ex-Sunderland. Last season, when they fucking done us in the playoffs, he was probably their control man, the one who ran the midfield on them games, which made it difficult to us, which obviously in turn made us fucking not get to the playoff final.
Do you know what he done it there with the two legs?
Yeah, he did.
The first leg and the second leg, he controlled the game. And I remember them games. I'm sure I give him man of the match in them games on the channel. Yeah. And like I say, if he's not playing, it'll only benefit us.
But he hasn't been involved that much this season. But you never know. You never know. Some managers might think, right, if we put so and so in, because against his old club, they might ruffle a few feathers, or we'll have to wait and see when we see the team selection on Saturday. But he's one maybe watch out for if he's involved.
There's been a lot of talk about Jermaine Defoe as well. How on BBC Newcastle during the week, I've been listening to a few of the shows in the car and that, and they were saying that it's been a bit of a letdown. And Mark Mugabe was more or less saying that, I hope I haven't paid much for Defoe because it'll have been a mistake, because they were talking about that he'd be on 15 grand a week or something. Like, rough example, they says, well, if he's on that, we're being robbed, really, basically.
I don't think he'd be on that. But I know he's saying, some supporters, I wasn't one of them, was expecting him to come in and start banging hat-tricks every game because it's League One. He's 39, he's played one game this season. He was never going to come in and start freaking destroying defences and all that. But the last couple of games, he has done well. He's got some of the link-up play, some of his graft, some of his work rate. I mean, that game against freaking Crew, him and Stewart, they might as well have been in a freaking WWE match. They were getting fucking choke slammed and body slammed. The Rock freaking bottom even came out at one point. He was getting flung all over, man. And the referee just wasn't interested. Well, there was service going in.
I didn't think there was that much.
There was, but the service that was coming in, Stewart and Defoe couldn't get on the end of it because, like I said, someone was laying the smackdown on them in the box, and the referee just didn't give a shit.
Nah.
I mean, look, and I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'll get angry again.
No, it was our last game.
It was fucking
touch upon that.
Defoe was doing well. Him and Stewart, they were making good ones, but they were being manhandled. Which, I mean, we all know the referees are shit in this league, so we can't use them as an excuse. But because the referees are the same for all teams, you know what I mean. I'm not just saying it's only against us, but you know what I mean. When you've got a 6'4" striker getting flung around as if he is a 5'4" striker, you've got to freaking you've got to use your common sense. It's not normal.
No, but for me, Defoe coming, I was there with the moon. I didn't think he was going to be scoring week in, week out, but I thought he would do enough just to get us out of that line. You know, like at that time, the automatics were still touching distance.
Still 8 games left.
Do you know what I mean? I thought he was going to get us out of the line for the automatics, not the playoffs. You know what I mean? I thought that could have been the striker, but looking at it, we've desperately missed Broadhead. And he said he must have said, I think Alex Neil was touching upon, he felt something. You know, and so they didn't want to risk it.
Yeah. Well, that's the right thing to do.
They were thought
I said in that video for that game. Mm-hmm. Hopefully they haven't brought him back too early, but I didn't think they would do that. But
they did.
He obviously felt fit and well enough before the game. But obviously, training and actual having a competitive match, it is a big difference. You push yourself more in the matches, so that's probably when he's felt something twinge.
Two different things, just training to a competitive match. See, with Broadhead, I'm really glad he didn't play against Crew because the way they were playing, he probably would have picked up an injury. Like, especially if he was feeling something like a niggle, and then if he went to play that game, how physical Crew were being, he would have picked up an injury, in my opinion. So I'm glad they kept him out then. But for Lincoln, for me, he's got to come in with Stewart up top.
Well, I think we're waiting to find out. We'll find out tomorrow off Neil's pre-match press conference whether who's available and who's not and things like that. But hopefully Broadhead is available. I mean, he was rested against Crew.
Right.
Like you see, you've got to think you've got Broadhead back from injury now. Defoe we've got in. We've got players back now, so against the likes of Crew, there should be enough cover in the squad to rest a few players and keep the stronger members. Well, not so much stronger members, but people who can have an impact in the game, rest them against certain teams.
Right.
So then when we're playing against the likes of your Rotherhams and your Oxfords and your Plymouths in the final run into the season, we can then use them to their advantage, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think Defoe, obviously he weren't fit when he couldn't have been. He played, I think it was 9 minutes he played.
Something like that,
Something 9 minutes away, man. He's not going to be up to scratch. But I think he's starting to get there. That's why a surprised few that he started against Crewe.
Well, I've liked his work rate. He started against Crewe simply because when he came off the bench at half-time against Fleetwood, he put in a hell of a shift. He helped create things. His work rate was there. His passing was good and his movement. And people follow Defoe, like defenders follow him, which leaves gaps for the other players to run into. Right. And if that's how we score, that's how we score. It doesn't have to be Defoe who gets the goals in. It takes a whole team to score a goal. I'm not bothered who fucking scores them.
No. So that moves us up to
Patterson got up and scored them for all that care.
He needs some credit. He's been
class.
Minf
been really good.
Games. But that's the lineup.
But it's not the lineup.
No, I'm saying I'll give you the lineup.
We're not, before we touch on the lineup. Another thing which is going to come out to be, we know all too much about this from last season. Lincoln are after getting an emergency loan signing for a new keeper because they've got a goalkeeper crisis. Now, where have we heard this one before? That's right, last season when they got that, was it Peterborough, and then someone else got that fucking goalkeeper in on loan from Stoke who was valued at 30 million and we couldn't fucking score past him to save our fucking lives. Hopefully, I mean, they're not that confident they're going to get one in for Saturday, but there is still a possibility that they might do. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, the history doesn't repeat itself like it did last season.
That'll back us into us if it does. I mean, it did last time, so it's just gone.
We're after revenge against Lincoln, not just for knocking us out the playoffs last year, but for frigging beating us 3-1 at the stadium. Like that was an embarrassing game.
That was weren't really the catalyst, but that's where it started to go wrong, really, didn't it?
It was a very low point.
It was. 2
weeks before that game, or less than 2 weeks before that game, we'd beat Sheffield 5-0.
Aye.
Johnson got man of the match, fucking manager of the month, and then we got fucking beat 3-1 off fucking Lincoln at home.
Then he got sacked the next month.
And then he got sacked.
Fucking crazy. But anyway, you all know my thoughts. It was a right decision for him to go anyway. But right, our lineups. I'm going to give you mine first, then Stephen, and then we'll probably argue about our lineups. But mine is Ross Stewart, Broadhead, if fit, up top. I'll have Roberts on the right, Clark on the left, 09 sitting just behind the two strikers. Then Matete, Dan Neal. Then obviously the same back three and goalkeeper as last game. And if you didn't know that, it's Winchester, Bailey Wright, and Serkin and Patterson in goal, who's been outstanding for the last couple of games. Yeah. And that is my lineup. Stephen, what do you reckon yours is?
You know what it is? I knew you were going to ask us this because it's what we do. But I cannot think of what he's going to play. If you look at the last couple of games, his subs have made the changes. It's made the impact. So against Fleetwood, his subs changed the game. And then the next game, he started the subs that he brought on. Is he going to do that again? Is he going to, because Roberts played mint when he came on. For me, Roberts changed the game. And then Dan Neal, they got the 2 goals. Is he going to start them? I hope he does. I mean, for me, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know. I'm going to go Patterson in goal and the same back three. Mm. I'm going to have Gooch as the right wing back, Clark on the left, Neal and Matete, Roberts or Onion behind Stewart and Defoe, or Broadhead if he's fit. But I don't know if we're going to risk him. So we go, because we don't know, I'm going to say Stewart and Defoe.
Roberts behind the 2 strikers?
Aye.
Will you not just put Elliot Embleton in there, though?
He probably will, but you're asking my opinion, not freaking Neil's.
I cannot see.
I didn't know what Neil's team is. You're asking me what mine is. But Roberts is a playmaker. He creates things and he covers. When he got put into that role against Fleetwood, he was very impressive and he did it, and I quite liked it. So you asked me, my 11, that's my 11. Accept it or piss off.
Fucking a winger behind the strikers.
We've got a centre midfielder playing right back.
Oh, true. And we've also got a left back being sent off.
Exactly. You know what I mean? We've got frigging all sorts. We've had midfielders playing all over the place this season.
To be honest, you've got a point.
That's my lineup. Tell them to piss off.
Right, we'll be digging a live as well. So you're going to have to come on the channel about what quarter would you say? Because we started too early last time, didn't we?
About 2:45, 10 to 3 tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, Saturday.
Saturday even. We'll come on the channel and comment, and we'll have the chat open and that, and you can drop in. Obviously, it's about 15 minutes before the game, and that's it. Hit the thumbs up on this one and subscribe if you're new. So we will see you on Saturday. Sunderland live against the Gimps. Sorry, I mean the Imps at the Lanier Stadium.